against Italy. There's the laugh. Even out on the field, how good is that? Jenna will have the story on James Tedesco. I put the binoculars on him. He has got some ice pack of some kind on his left eye. It may be a cork rather than hamstring, but Jenna will have the story on that. We can speculate from a long way up on the gantry at Huddersfield on the opposite side of the ground, but he is watching. There he is from the bench, and there it is. The pack is above the knee. Now, that's not hamstring, so it may be a cork above the knee.
I think that's what it is, yeah. No major concern, but no reason to carry on risking him at 30 points to 0 up at half-time. Ken Cleary making 36.
And this one, well, he's only just scraped it over the crossbar, but it is a success. All right, let's get the story on Tedesco and the half-time report. Jenna Brooks.
Yeah, we just saw James Tedesco on the didn't we? I have been told that it was a sub. This is precautionary. It was a little bit of a knockout there, but they are not concerned. See, the look on his face is not so concerned either, or maybe he's just seen himself up there on the big screen. I'm not quite sure, but they're not concerned. News from Mal Meninga at half-time, though. He's really focused on defence ahead of this game. He said that they hadn't really been tested. The Kangaroos hadn't been tested so far in this World Cup when it comes to defence. So that was the most pleasing aspect. As far as Michael Cheika goes, they're not looking at the score, was his message. It's irrelevant, he said. They're just focusing on their own game and doing what they came here to do, which is put up a fight.
So Australia in possession at 36-0. Their first try of the second half. 6.5 minutes in. And they try hard. They will try hard, but it's onslaught after onslaught if the handling sticks for Australia. Cleary with this kick, and he's got it past Miski there. Can be said about Cleary too, and it's been publicised this week. Australia have had the tummy bug. It started with the coach Mal Meninga. Nathan Cleary is one of those who has been affected. Look, I wonder. I don't know, because he's
100% right.
Yeah.
I've no doubt he would have been selected if he wasn't 100% right. He's obviously told coach that he's okay to play.
Dominic Young will be on show tomorrow in Wigan. I think the Princess of Wales put her head up and said, I want to go. I want to be there. I want to see Dominic Young, who is one of the headline acts at this World Cup. Now, what if? I mean, we have the potential to have a showdown in the final. They play opposite each other if Australia played England. Now Moses does a lovely kick around the corner, and then it's been kicked over the sideline. That's an interesting one. It's out on the full. He's kicked it backwards, but we go back to where he kicked it from. I think you'll see there. They've got a penalty anyway, I think, for some interference on Moses, and he's saying put him in the bin.
Yeah, he just nudges the ball, doesn't he, round Josh Addo-Carr, and he nearly ends up taking a seat on his own bench there. Moses. That is a professional foul. But not one for the bin.
All right. So penalty, but it's still a set that is just outside the 20. One of their best chances of the night here, Lebanon. And it obviously boils down to Moses or Dwayhe if they're to create points. Certainly bring the crowd back into the game if they were to get a 4-pointer.
Rajab onto the field. Possibly Dwayhe drops the 13.
Yes, he's got the flying ponytail. Another one of the young Bulldogs, Caleb Rajab, DJ.
Great game against Ireland, but he's not going to get his hands on the ball in this set.
That's
It's
disappointing.
an error there, isn't it? He's Robinson, I think it is. Yeah. Just fighting with Cleary all over him, but it's in concentration there.
Yeah.
120 NRL appearances and 42 in rugby union, Robinson.
Yeah. Very much veteran class. This will be his last test, you would think, at 35. Lebanon way back to 2009. Clinton working the scrum, and Australia from their own 10-metre line. Shows you the depth of Australia. You take off Tedesco, and you could have thought, well, there you go. It's not happening here for Australia. Carrigan can't believe it. shake of the head.
Yeah, he just has a little look up, doesn't he? You can see how tight the Aranos there lining him up. Carrigan comes up with a soft error, really.
Still shaking his head.
You mentioned the number of errors, Bossy. That's 9 now from Australia. You know, going forward. You imagine it at Ellen Road, when they come up against the Kiwis, they can't really afford to be making all sorts of number of errors.
Mind you, Fiji hoping to have something to say on all of that tomorrow night. Carraz passing up.
It's good tackle
and
there,
risky.
Even when Australia have looked like they've, you know, when Lebanon are going to get on the outside, there's just this wall of the green and gold that just keeps turning up. Hard work from the inside.
And it will be Moses calling the shots on the right-hand side. That time to El-Zarqam. Good tackle low down by Angus Crichton. 10 away. Centerfield this time. If only they can find a way through. They have to beat their own man to get through there. Tasapali found himself in the wrong spot, wrong time. Tedesco now. Moses, little show, dumps it off. Dwayne is the man with the ball. And Adam Dwayne with 3 defenders on him. Grant is there. May, Crichton, last tackle. 10 from the line. Moses' kick is out. Oh, it's been touched. That is a try. Munster has it knocked it dead. Josh Mansour. Lebanon have their try. Moses' kick. Josh Mansour, one of the best blokes you'll ever meet in rugby league, has scored a 4-pointer.
Yeah, it's really pleasing to see that, isn't it? That kick there from Moles, he's been threatening that, hasn't he, the Parramatta half, and it's Mansour. Munster doesn't want to deal with it properly. And the gorgeous kick that it is, it just bounces up in time. And Mansour to...
That's the Mansour Express coming through. Even in slow motion, he's moving fast, flying over the top of the ball. Really nifty work from Mansour.
Certainly was. Well, 7 tries in the last 6 games for Lebanon. Well, that's 8 in 7 now. Over 10 years in the NRL, obviously with the Penrith Panthers, and last couple of seasons with Souths. An incredible. Over 170 appearances in the NRL and 86 tries. Shows he can score.
If we had all countries of the world competing, he's actually eligible for Portugal, Lebanon, Cuba. Oh, for the Cubans in, and he's played for Australia. He has Cuban heritage. I live for the day. We're off to Cuba. Me and you, Carl.
That's cool.
Moses misses. 6-4, they're on the board. There it is, so he can say, I played for Australia against Lebanon, now I'm a try scorer in Lebanon against Australia.
There, Munster couldn't quite deal with that kick, you know, needed a bit more whack on it, didn't it? Send it over the dead ball line, it comes off his hand awkwardly. And Sauce gets it down.
Shame now in retrospect that Mansour didn't score for Australia against Lebanon. Would have been a lovely double to have done it both ways, but that wasn't the case when they played back in 2017. And he's all over it now. He wants work. There's forward in the tackle for Australia. He's done plenty of carries tonight. Carraz has done plenty. Dwayne's had a number of shots at the line. Keep it up. If Australia are off their game after half-time, and Lebanon get a little run of possession, they keep the scoreboard far removed from a blowout. Nice offload to Noose, and kept going by Moses. Morkos, bright young talent, but runs and meets his maker there. Ball spat out the back. They almost took his jumper, took his wallet, and the ball. And now he's got Grant.
Throw him over the sideline there, weren't they? And in the end, it's just got to be a turnover, 45 metres out from Australia's line. You see here the cavalry coming in. Mitch and company.
Yeah. Well, even that, I mean, if he watches that back, you say, oh, that's still a highlight. I'm 19 years of age, I've never played in the NRL, and there's 4 really big names just hammering me. I'm on the big stage now.
Paul Cross, he played in that New South Wales under-19 State of Origin win. He's out here on the biggest stage of them all. That's going to be a turnover chance. Here's a break.
Again, Australia. They are dropping their lollies everywhere. The Kangaroos since half-time. Lebanon, the Cedars, their fans are now getting ready for possibly a second try. Dwayhe with it. You keep your eye on those. He's kept them guessing here. He's standing behind. There's a set restart for Lebanon. Juggled there by the DJ. Holmes hasn't got his man. Kiraz with it. He probably deserves a 4-pointer, Kiraz. Tedesco. Oh!
Big hit there. Monster.
Nothing wrong with the tackle. Munster and Carrigan, it looked spectacular. Kiraz. They shifted out of dummy half. Moses. This time holding it up. Sapali has worked so hard. 36 plays 4, only 6-4 since half-time. Nice stepping Moses. Overlap right-hand side. Now Zarkum. Not able to get to the line. Tedesco. 4 tackles down. Moses. Kick off the legs. That was played at. And Lebanon got it back.
6 more.
Another set of 6 deliberately played at. Referee Kendall rules on it. Now they rush up on Khalil Rabi. He's lost it back. Ooh, challenge. They've burnt their challenge, haven't they? They haven't got one left, poor old Lebanon. They feel they've been hardly done by. And they've got no challenge to go to.
I think he gets his one wrong there. Rami just turns and tries to offload the ball.
There was Collins out there for Australia involved in the ball. Oh, have a look at him.
Checkers furious as well, isn't he? Feels hard to.
He wants to introduce the coach challenge. Once you burn the captain's challenge, you can have the coach challenge. You're seeing the challenge system. You like it, Cole, or not?
Yeah, I think it's good. You know, I think it gives I think it's something that probably Super League will look to introduce at some point. I think obviously, like everybody, you know, referees can make mistakes, and in big games, important calls, you know, can be challenged. And I think it's only right that you get the chance to do that.
Holmes up to halfway.
It's good leg drive, isn't it? And offload as well.
Offload. Grant on it. Harry Grant, like a slippery eel. Then the link up to Munster. Here comes the Fox. He's got a handful. Unbelievable. Just as Valentine Holmes did 5 years ago. 5 tries in a World Cup quarter-final. The Fox with a capital F. Let's drop, baby.
Josh Addo-Carr, a genuine superstar of the game, but it all starts with the good work from Latrell Mitchell. The leg drive, look, it just keeps going. 3 players on it, a late offload off the back of that Grant. Well, he does what he does best, doesn't he? And just darts straight through the centre of the field, gets the offload away. And Munster's there in support. Just watch all the green and gold just float forward now. Grant just evading, bumping people off. Munster with an intelligent kick, sees the space. And the Fox, well, there's no one home for him. And he's able just to get there and dot the ball down for the 5th try of his night. Harry Grant, how good is he?
Oh, very good. He's a super player.
He makes things look so easy, doesn't he? That's
Here
a
he
brilliant
comes.
kick, isn't it? Feed the Fox.
Yeah. Josh Addo-Carr, this ground here in Huddersfield too, this is one of the grounds that's probably just got a little extra space behind the dead ball line. At some of the grounds, I don't know whether you... Well, put it this way, Old Trafford.
Small in goals there.
I don't think you'd want to chart fast because he'd slide over the dead ball and then go over the edge.
Down the bunker, right?
Down in the bunker, down into the brickwork. I did a visit to Old Trafford this morning, Kyle. It was something so good. Cleary from the sideline. We are off to Old Trafford for the final, whatever the makeup of teams is. It is going to be something. 75,000 world record test crowd back in 2013. Let's hope we can do it again at this year's World Cup.
Look at the strength there from Val Holmes. And just that bit from Grant, ducking, weaving, fending people off. Monster like all good halves and fullbacks do, they support, and then to have that vision in that fraction of a time to be able to see that nobody's in front of Addo-Carr. Great take.
Yeah, lovely. He thought he had the distance right. Yet White was up to the challenge. Australia able to right up a slightly unsteady ship since half-time. They now have those 2 tries, 42 points to 4. So that is 8 tries for the night, and Addo-Carr has 5. So he's equalled Holmes. Holmes got 6 then in the semi-final against Fiji at the last World Cup. Can Addo-Carr get 7?
It's just crazy to think that that could happen, isn't it?
Now Cleary and Munster, good defence. Robinson, Munster offloaded. They've knocked on again. Oh, play on to they've knocked on again. Well, he must have seen one of them down at Huddersfield. Doesn't matter what the accent. They sometimes say their eyes are painted on. It's lovely to hear that sledge on both sides of the rugby league world.
With this error that gets called from Liam Martin, the Penrith Panther. But again, number of errors, isn't it? It's not like this second half hasn't been exactly brilliant from Australia. We've seen some great tries from them, don't get me wrong. Question mark maybe over the middle unit of the defence again once more from Lebanon, but in terms of that real execution from them, they've been scrappy in terms of just being able to get through the sets. And that's something that Mal Meninga will probably be moaning to them. Too many errors.
Fans watching Australia, it is a Saturday morning there. Yeah, I'd probably think even the staunchest fan would be describing it as average since half-time. No better than average. Dwayhe and Rajab with a short pass. He does look a confident player. Now, Khalid Rajab comes into the match and jumps about, fitting into an attack with Dwayhe and Moses. It couldn't be easy.
He had a great game when he filled in for Dwayhe, when he had that suspension that made him miss the Ireland game. He was terrific. Rajab, man on the ball now.
There he is.
Moses.
So another set restart, Lebanon. 17.5 to go. 12-4 second half, folks. Moses, he set up the try with a kick. Now back for Jackson Romy. He's inside the 10-metre zone. Here goes Moses again. Rajab. Oh, tackle, Whiten. Spot on there, outside in. That's a deuce. Good pass from dummy half. Dwayhe. Moses, huge pass. Into the fence. Umpire signals that's a 4.
He was never really on that. He's asking far too much there. Sees Addo-Carr just tucked in a little bit tight and sees the space and just tries to loft it over the top. But you can see that Josh Addo-Carr, even if he catches that, Bossy, he's going straight into touch. The word that Addo-Carr does there. Mansour catches that. It's the same outcome, isn't it, over the sideline?
Yeah, missed chance, but not a certain, by no means certain try, but a missed chance, a real crack for the corner.
Yeah, at least they were moving the ball about a bit, asking 1 or 2 questions. It's a good tackle, isn't it, from Rajab there? Mismatch inside, sorry. It's a quick play of the ball, and they take on this short side.
Well, it was running the ball to Rajab. Martin's had a good night. There's Addo-Carr in an offloading capacity. But again, it's not pinpoint from Australia. So now Cherry Evans to Jake Trbojevic. If you're just tuning in from Australia, Tedesco did not return after half-time, and a little knock above his knee and an eye pack on it, but nothing more, nothing muscular. As this kick fielded by Miski and Karaz. referee. There is Tedesco, the captain. So we'll be right for the semi-final next week, which is Elland Road for the Australians, off to the home of Leeds United. Actually had a chat during the week with Harry Kuehl, who had many great years at Leeds United and these days on the coaching staff at Celtic with another Australian, Ange Postecoglou. So there's a link with Australia at Elland Roads, a strong one there.
Addo-Carr, another one.
Rami up over halfway. Russell Crowe was a United fan. Mitchell Moses, he was taken by Trbojevic, and it's a penalty. Not a vicious tackle by any stretch. Look at Jake, he's the nicest man in rugby league. And
He's so consistent, isn't he? Normally Trbojevic, and it's just kick pressure on him, but he just can't help, can he, there? And he makes a meal of it by throwing the head back, because Moses, you see there, a little bit added extras. He wins a penalty. It's a penalty anyways, but...
Yeah, so certainly not head contact. 42-4. I mean, we keep talking about Michael Checker, and he used it from the very first game. We have our own scoreboard. Well, here, the literal scoreboard in the second half is 12 points to 4.
That's what I was talking about, you know, at half-time. I said if they come back out, take the scoreboard to 0-0 and just have a real good crack at it. 12-4 in this second half. We'll be certainly pleased, and as will the players as well, because they don't want to get a draw as they get out. Rajab again. He's looked lively as this is come on.
He's jumping around the field. He's into the play. Collins has got him.
Just lost about 15 metres there then.
Huddersfield, he's headed back towards Staley Bridge. It's further up the line, isn't it? It's almost not fair when it happens. Martin comes away with the ball for Australia. And now Whiten with it. With just over 13 minutes to go. Chilly Friday night in Huddersfield. This, look at this call off. There was Martin saying to Harry Grant, drop off, Harry. You can only strip the ball when it's one-on-one in a tackle, and Grant falls away when he got the call from his teammate.
It can be good. I remember obviously my time at St Helens last season. That was a rule that we had over in the Super League, that we got rid of it for this year. It used to be called, you know, there was threes in a tackle. I think the word we used to call was bomb, Vossi, and if one of you shouted bomb, two players would fall off and then the guy would rip it out. So it can be coached, that sort of tactic.
No doubt about that. Leo, and now for Jake Trbojevic. Just outside the 20-metre zone. This was the penalty. There it was. There was clearly more than one in the tackle that time. Referee Kendall on that one. I actually like referee Kendall, what I've seen at the World Cup. We know his pace.
Quickest referee on the planet, isn't he?
But I think he's a very good referee. It's a pretty tight battle to see who will have the semi-finals and final. But it comes no surprise to me if he got the big one. Yo, Cleary.
How often do you hear that combination, Yo and Cleary? One after the other.
And, you know, real Jerome Luai's part of that combo at Penrith as well. We see him at Samoa on Sunday against the Tongans. Cherry Evans! DCE is grounded there 5 metres away from the line. Harry Grant, and then the barge over try. Australia have another one. Just a little bit of fatigue there from the Lebanon side. It's been coming at them all night. They've tried hard in this second half, but that time you saw Tessapali get up a little slowly. A few boys feeling the pinch.
Video referee to match director. We have a live decision of try on tackle 4. Can I please check all available angles for grounding? Thank you. I'm happy I've viewed all available angles and I have my decision.
I think he's been one of their best tonight, actually, Liam Martin.
Yeah, he certainly showed up, hasn't he, today? About to enter into his 5th season with the Penrith Panthers. Next year, he gets a try for Australia tonight for sure. It's just a hard direct carry, Bossy, isn't it? It gets over the top of Carraz and in between Rajab as well. It's the mismatch in size and power and aggression.
Liam Martin, the only little calf issue out of the game against Italy, but all clear to play tonight.
It was all off the back of this run, wasn't it? Cherry Evans there, just getting between people, being a bit of a nuisance and a threat. And you just watch there, they don't get forward, they get up 2 metres and hold, and you know, it's just when you want one guy like Liam Martin just direct and ripping onto the ball, it's very difficult to stop if you're not going to meet him head on.
See these Penrith players, and Martin is one of that contingent. They've played 3 grand finals in a row. You know, it's quite a feat in the NRL. We talk about back-to-back titles are hard to do, but Penrith did it this year and have played 3 grand finals in a row. That's enormous big match experience for a player like Martin.
So you can just tell in that picture there how quick he advanced onto the ball. And Carraz and Rajab, they just hold, don't they? They get up half a metre and just drop back on the heels, and it's too difficult to defend that.
No matter what combination they put on, they've got an outstanding back row. They could have 3 injuries at back row as put in an outstanding back row. Jeremiah Nane not playing tonight. Oh, another great lead, Whiten. Really good stuff.
Yeah.
But no, just so many back rowers to pick from. Combinations. On halfway Australia. I do think Mal would want them to finish strong the last 10 minutes. You know, I don't think he's going to be happy unless they get to 60 here, based on what they've done since half-time. Fasil Malawi with the ball. Big Tino. Now Grant and Yo doesn't pass there to Lindsay Collins. Last tackle, Australia. It is Grant. This is Cleary. His kick will come down 10 metres out. Carraz, nice catch. He's had some tough moments, but there's enough on the highlight reel to be pretty proud of his performance tonight.
Yeah, certainly. He's only a youngster as well, isn't he? So he will improve as he gets more games under his belt. He's took a few good high catches in, and go back to that first sort of, I think it was the first or second try of the Fox when he gets it stripped off Munster. Those are little ones that he's going to have to make sure about.
Good wins at a dummy half there, the Australian defence. So he popped off a little there. Then a kick on the end of it. Getting across to it, Munster. Holmes is wrapped around, doesn't get the ball. Munster's off and running. Munster almost back to halfway. Again, he's got a lot to say tonight, Cameron Whiten. So I suppose now we're wondering whether Addo-Carr can get 6. They're not going to get 6 if they're losing the ball. Hello. What's going on in the middle there?
Addo-Carr didn't like what Bazaz did. He just gets underneath Whiten and forces an error. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
No one's backing down here. Zaz is saying, you don't know me at all, and I don't care who you are.
It's a little push afterwards, and he's just getting a bit excited. For some of these players, they may never play an opposition of this quality ever again. You can see why Bazaz is enjoying himself.
Oh, I love it. He's my new favourite player. Jalel Bazaz. Well. He's ripping it. Kangaroos, he's saying. Kangaroos. On halfway, Lebanon with the ball. Gotta love that, though. Yeah, 7.5 minutes to go. You're down by 44. Have a piece of the pie. That makes me hungry just thinking about it. Taken forward by that man Bazaz, and they're going to town on him there on the ground. Look at him kick his legs around. He kicks up. He has a little crack again. Bazaz bringing the pizzazz, you could say. Easy headline to right. Lebanon left side. Raja, love the responsibility he's getting. Moses touched. Ball ended up with Lebanon. Kendall, Casserole's play on. Again with Moses. He's the man to create a possible second try for them.
It's a threat, isn't it, really? Near this line, he's off the boot of Moses.
Here he is. It's another kick. He's done a banana kick back in Infield, oh, doesn't get it right. It's way too big. Bojovic had it covered in any case. A trick shot that wasn't his best. But second half, again, just taking stock of it. It is 18-4 second half after a 30-0 scoreline at half-time. I go back to Addo-Carr. Could there be a sixth try? He's coming looking for work. Here he is, the Fox.
Well, he's not really had a lot to do, has he, this second half, apart from put the ball down in the corner.
We've got the biggest run meters of that actually being with Mal Holmes.
Yeah, Mal Holmes and then Isaiah Yeo behind him.
Australia with Tino. Fazul Malawi with the ball. Lovely charge. And then they're gone for a spin. They've done it. Have they? 1-on-1. Well, surely he got it. That's the reverse string. Now Yo. Cleary. And Cleary will play it 20 metres away from the line. Harry Grant on the scamper. Kick came off the chest. Play on. Collins. Lindsay Collins with a pickup. Then they're calling double movement. Lindsay saying I've slid over. I have slid over the line.
How's he managed to pick that up? What a difficult skill.
He's saying I want to challenge it. Now this is, if you have a challenge up your sleeve, he's stuck with a penalty, double movement. Well, the pickup was outstanding, wasn't it?
Takes a ricochet, but what about that pick up there? And
Please.
well, look, you've seen them giving, haven't you? And you've seen them giving his penalties. Well, no, to be fair on that angle, it does look like he propels himself forward. I'd have to agree with Ken on that occasion.
Well,
Collins denied a try through his own doing.
Lindsay. He doesn't score many tries. He's only got 3 in the NRL. They did get one last week, but he doesn't know how to slide over. If he had just held the ball close to the body, he slides
Maybe
over to score.
momentum takes him over it with Yavos.
But again, he's got no idea. He has to go Google what is a try, as he calls it. Lebanon with the ball. So again, scoreline hasn't blown out. 4 minutes to go. Plenty of room for improvement for Australia to the point you start to second guess yourself. You're thinking based on how disjointed it's looked in the second half. You think, oh, hang on, is this the best side we can pick? Lebanon, errant pass there. Not much other than Collins just falling on the man. And more at the moment is considering player of the match as Moses goes high. Nice catch by Munster. And he's with the ball, I think, with 3.5 minutes to go. Do you want to lock in the Kazoo man of the match, Colin?
Well, look, I don't think it's going to surprise many of our viewers at home, but the Kazoo man of the match, player of the match, is Josh Addo-Carr. 5 tries, the number 9 for Australia, the man on ball now. 5 tries tonight, an incredible performance from a winger. He is the player of the match.
Oh, and Australia almost to the centre. Well, that means it'll be Jenner's job to try and get the Addo-Carr laugh in the post-match interview. Holmes is with the ball. They haven't got the 50. They've still got time to do it. Grant's kick has turned around Carraz. He's attacking the ball. He's back there again.
Carraz holds on that time.
11 tries. Dom Young, what can he do tomorrow? Kyle, you want to lock in a prediction there about...
Well, I think he'll score tries. I do believe that if England can get in them parts of the fields, that they can unpick Papua New Guinea, certainly with the skill and the way the ball halfbacks are playing in Wellesby and Williams and Sam Tompkins out the back of that as well. I do believe that the wingmen will get service. Dominic Young's already shown us how much of a quality player he is so far. There's an error there for Moses, but he got away with that one.
Knocked back.
Could be interesting, won't it? Get a couple heading into the semi-finals. We'll be all on for the top try scorer.
Read today. I saw Matthew Shaw writing the story. Was it Jimmy Nutley? Maybe looking for a club over here. What a try he scored for PNG against Wales. He'd be lined up against Dom Young. There's some natural athletic ability in the body and legs of Jimmy Nutlink. Addo-Carr with it. This would be a case of icing the cake if he could come up with a sixth try. Those all get into a room. Have a look at this. What's going on there? They're all caught up. Set restart. Pasua Malawi with the ball. To just finish off with a try without being overly impressive second half. Injury slate is clear. Cleary goes long. Holmes with the ball. Linking up on the inside run for Whiten. 10 minutes from the line.
Send it to the Fox.
Oh, it's a set restart again. And they are looking out of their feet at Lebanon, although chance to rush up and make a tackle. It's 3 metres away. Oh, Harry Grant, no. Well, that's a second half. That is not good from Harry Grant. Sloppy from the Australians.
He's had a terrific game though, hasn't he? We can let him off with that one. Caused an awful lot of damage in and around the middle. Just his running game's been exceptional and just getting the Lebanon side on the back foot all the time. Oh, nearly a pinch there.
Oh, hang on, it was, I was thinking that Addo-Carr, he was running through. He went, damn it, I missed a chance. He was in the vicinity. Yeah, you can put up the curtains on this one. That's a pretty untidy end of the match. But we have our first team through to the semi-finals. Australia is on its way. They have an appointment at Ellen Road in Leeds. They led 30-0 at half-time. The second half far from their best. But they are through to the final four, and Lebanon bid farewell to the World Cup, and they are already locked in for the next one in 2025. Full time, Australia 48, Lebanon 4.
Well, Australia are through to the World Cup semi-finals, and as Vossi said, they are off to the famous Ellen Road, home of Leeds United. And we've gone from Harry Kewell and Mark Viduka to Harry Grant and Nathan Cleary in the Kangaroos colours. Mal Meninga, they're very happy. 48-4, the final score over Lebanon, who have been so brave and represented their country so proudly, but their World Cup has come to an end. Greg Alexander, Corey Parker, Josh Mansour, he was a wonderful moment, a shining light for the Cedars this morning. Josh Addo-Carr, though, a 5-try superstar. He has launched onto a scoring blitz at Huddersfield and now leads the World Cup as the top try scorer. Not perfect from the Kangaroos and probably a little bit clunky. Some untidiness has crept in to their game, but certainly through to the semi-finals and much to look at before we most likely hit the Kiwis.
Yeah, look, I mean, coming into the game, the Australians had built quite nicely over their first 3 games, but to be fair and call it as I see it, I think this is their worst performance of the tournament so far. Yes, they get through 48 points to 4 and quite comprehensively if you look at the score, but 14 errors from the Australians. I mean, Josh Addo-Carr was terrific, 5 tries as you mentioned. He had 3 in the first half, but the cohesion, some of the ball movement that we saw, some of the basic errors that we saw just wasn't quite up to stand for the Australians, particularly when it looks like they'll go on to play the New Zealand, the Kiwis next week. So they got the job done. I'm not too sure if Mal Meninga would be quite impressed with that, particularly that second half. I mean, 14 errors is just not good enough. It'd be interesting to see what he does have to say after the game. Cameron Murray goes over for a double. He was terrific coming off the bench. But Brendy, I just thought at different stages Australia looked way off.
I agree, Corey. And clunky is a word we've used quite often through the tournament, but I thought their second half was as poorly as they played. Some of the errors were basic. It kept the Lebanese team in the game. And I thought Lebanon, we spoke about that at half-time. Were they up for the fight in the second half? Well, they were, Vonnie. They came out. There was a 15-minute period there where Lebanon had the ball on Australia's line. Josh Mansour came up with a try. I thought Cameron Munster provided a couple of pieces of genius play for Josh Addo-Carr. But whenever someone scores 5 tries in a game, and that score was only 48, so we're not talking 80, and 48 points for Australia, and Josh Addo-Carr's crossed 5 times. That's the highlight of the game for me. I thought performance-wise, I thought Yo was very good. I thought Liam Martin was good. I thought Cameron Munster, provided some moments of brilliance that Cameron Munster can provide. So there's a lot to work on, but I think that, you know, the improvement is there. This is a good side. This is a team full of great players. I'm sure when they line up against the Kiwis next week, that it will be a better performance. But it'll need to be, because if it's not, if it remains the same, we spoke about the great mates, Mitch Moses and Teddy swapping jumpers. Teddy came off at half-time, of course, just precautionary, a bit of ice on a quad muscle.
I love this. This is really special. A lifetime of friendship and footy, and together on the world stage, captaining their countries, swapping jerseys at the end of quarter-final of the World Cup. That's a really special moment between two really great mates.
Yeah, it's like Moses jerseys a little bit. Muscle on Ted, and then it's on Mitch. I mean, that's what the World Cup's about. Being able to swap jerseys. I've still got jerseys from the World Cup that you just hang in the shed.
Do you put them on?
No. The memories are always there. The memories are always there. Wonderful campaign from the team.
All right, let's head back to Huddersfield.
Congratulations, you are the Kazoo player of the match. 5 tries tonight, 1 short of the Aussie record. What happened? Where did it go wrong?
I just think it was ill-discipline. A couple of calls didn't go our way, but once we started completing in the back end of the game, we started finding some points. But it is what it is. I'm grateful for the 5 tries. We worked really hard through the middle, and I'm just grateful to be on the wing. And all I've got to do is catch the ball, put it down.
We all know about you missing out on selection for Origin. Is this Kangaroos tour a little bit about redemption?
No, not at all. It just wasn't my time this year to play Origin. I've said that many times before, but I just love playing with these boys, this coaching staff, and I think we've got something special here. The very first day going into camp, I think we just have a bond like no other, and you can just see it on the field that we're having lots of fun on and off the field, and just love playing football in front of the fans. It's too damn mad.
What is the best thing about being on a Kangaroos tour? Be honest.
I think the fun. I love having fun. I get to do what I love doing. That's playing football and hanging around with my mates and enjoying the moment. And I'm in England. Never in a million years think I'd be in the UK playing the sport I love and representing my family at the same time. And I'm just grateful, man. I'm absolutely loving my time, and I just don't want it to end.
We can tell you're loving your time. I want to talk about the semi-final. Australia through to that. How many more gears are there?
I think we just spoke about it at half-time. They're letting ourselves down by ill-discipline. I think if we fix that, our ability's ahead of us. So, it's a special thing to be a part of. And, we know that we've got a hard game next week. The Fiji boys versus the NZ boys. No matter who we verse in that game, it's going to be a hard game. So, we're just loving every moment at the moment, and it's just a special to be a part of representing our countries, and it's too deadly, and we love it.
Do you have a preference?
What do you mean?
New Zealand or?
Mate, we versed Fiji at first round, and they were very tough. They flew out of the gates, and you just don't know in footy, So we knew that Lebanon were going to be really hard tonight, and like I said, just grateful to be here, playing in front of the fans, and it's mad, it's deadly.
It certainly is. Go and be with your fans because they're calling out the Fox. Congratulations, you are the Kazoo player of the match.
Thank you. Just want to shout out to my missus, kids, I love his lots, and my mum and dad love his lots, and let's trot, baby. Thank you.
The Fox are trotting all over this tour, loving the fun that he is enjoying over there. 5 tries, 20 points for this morning, 113 metres, tackle breaks. He was just an absolute star, and you can imagine that the UK fans, this is someone that they would really embrace and celebrate because he is just so eye-catching. He is, Young is their Hollywood star, but for the Aussies, Josh Addo-Carr is the man up in lights for us this morning.
Look, and his speed's been the difference, and that's what I guess the English fans would be, would just love the speed of Josh Addo-Carr. He was in the right position a number of times, so he's having a great tournament, Vaughn.
He mentioned the discipline, and his best footy is yet to come. It's going to need to be. Can they flick the switch? Because it's either New Zealand or Fiji.
Well, the short answer is yes. They've got too many great players within that side to write them off. But we got to call it how we see it. I thought that was their worst performance. 14 errors, as Josh Addo-Carr said. They're going to have to be a lot better, and they're going to have to hurry it up if they are to go on and play who looks to be possibly New Zealand.
Well, let's head back to Huddersfield. Jake Duke has the Aussie captain.
James Tedesco, a nice moment. You got Mitchell Moses' jersey on there. What was it like to play against him?
Yeah, it was awesome. They were obviously best mates and got his jersey, so that's a win. Good swap. Obviously, we'll catch up back home, but it was good win, good performance. A bit scrappy that second half, but we'll take it.
Yeah, what does it mean now? But you're into a semi-final of a World Cup. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's that was our goal. Obviously, we know it's going to be a tough challenge, New Zealand, but we wanted to get through this game and play some good footy. I mean, I thought we did that first half. Obviously, just a bit scrappy that second half, which is disappointing. But yeah, mate, we've got 7 days now for New Zealand. We'll watch their game closely tomorrow and be ready to go.
What about for yourself? We saw you there with a bit of ice above the knee. What's the issue?
I just got corked end of that first half. So once I cooled down, it was pretty hard to get going again. So make sure I want to get it right for next week and ice up and rest up.
You were carrying a bit of a knee issue as well coming in, were you?
Yeah, just a niggle, but that was fine. That felt sweet. So probably that extra second half just to rest out as well helps, and they'll be fresh and ready to go next week. What
about the prospect of playing against the Kiwis in a semi-final in Leeds? That's what dreams are made of, and what you came here to do, right? Yeah, definitely. We, they're going to be the team to beat, and they've had a great World Cup so far. So I'm excited coming up against Joey's. We're playing some good footy, but the whole Kiwis, so it's going to be a different test for us. Obviously, we're sort of building towards our best performance, but we know Kiwis is a benchmark, so it's going to be a great test for us. But we'll rest up, have a good week, and be ready to go. Joey and Jared as well. Maybe Jared be out there enforcing what he normally does. Yeah, hopefully he's having all right. I don't know how he's travelling over there, but yeah, as I said, it's going to be a sort of different level to what we've been versing. But yeah, hopefully we'll see how we go. Thanks for your time, Teddy. Cheers, thank you.
James Tedesco there in the Lebanese jersey, just a wonderful jersey swap with his best mate Mitch Moses there, who's making himself very familiar. Actually, Mitch doesn't look too bad in the green and gold.
He's played in the green and gold in the sevens, I think, or the nines rather. Yeah, he's great mates, and these are great scenes. I mean, they're memories, as I touched on before, that you just take forever. I mean, Moses has now Tedesco's green and gold jumper and vice versa, and yeah, they're great mates. I mean, at some point they would have sat on the lounge chair at home watching the green and gold or Australian teams play and just thinking, I hope I get there one day, and well, it's come. So great scenes.
And a slight knee cork for James Tedesco. With him off in the second half, we certainly saw a stall in the Aussie attack. Well, Mitch Moses is with Jake Duke.
Mitchell Moses, pretty cool to have James Tedesco's jersey there and swap jerseys.
Yeah, pretty special, mate. We're really close to him, so to grab the captain of Australia's jersey is unbelievable, and I'll definitely be putting that up in the pool room. So yeah, mate, they're a quality side, and we're just hanging in there in that second half, and they taught us a lesson tonight on how to play footy, and it's quality of them, quality side.
They are a quality side. A really positive experience to captain this Lebanon side and be part of getting to a quarter-final.
Yeah, it's massive. We've qualified now for our next World Cup, and that's what we want to come here and do. And we did that, achieved that, made a quarterfinals versus come up against a really good Australian side. And you know, some of these boys look up to the boys in the Australian side. So they got a big thrill out of going head to head and toe to toe with some of the people that they look up to. So those boys will get a lot out of it. But for me to captain this side was something that I'll cherish forever, I guess. And I learned so much playing under Czech and Kingy and Faf. So they taught me a lot there on how to be a captain, I guess, and how to lead the boys. And I'll take that a lot of that to the clubland.
Speaking of Czech, it's a pretty cool experience to have a world-renowned coach, right, leading you through this experience. How was he adapting to rugby league, kind of leading guys that, he's not normally used to leading in rugby league players?
He was unbelievable. The way he can get you up for a game is... I've never seen it before, to be honest, and you hear about all the stories and about how he gets teams up for games, and I just witnessed it firsthand, and I loved working under him, and I think he's got a big future in the NRL if he wants to go at it, and I think he could definitely coach a team one day if he sticks at it, and if he wants to, I guess. So I definitely got a lot out of that, and I think if you speak to anyone in the camp, they'll definitely agree with me.
Just finally, what does this mean to the Lebanon fans? What's the message to them for sticking strong?
Oh, it's massive. Like I said before, we've qualified for another World Cup, and the next World Cup, I think it's in France. So it's massive for that. And Lebanon's been going through a bit of a tough time back at home. So for us to put some smiles on some faces and play some good footy, which we did for the first 3 rounds, and come up against a red-hot Australian side, to put some smiles on some faces back there. They're doing it very tough. So we could send a message back there for them to take their mind off what's going on over there and enjoy a bit of footy and put some smiles on some faces. I hope we did that, and I hope they're proud of us.
Thanks, Mitch. Well played.
Too easy, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, thank you.
The World Cup is over for Lebanon. They are heading home, but Mitch Moses said cherishing his time leading the Cedars. He said he took so much out of this experience in the World Cup. We were watching Nathan Cleary there. Of course, it was a grand final rematch between Mitch Moses and Nathan Cleary. But to hear Mitch talk about Michael Cheika, which has just been the story bubbling along so far in this World Cup, hearing Mitch say it's an unbelievable experience. He's never been more inspired to run out in a game. He'd heard all the rumours. To experience that firsthand is an enormous endorsement for Michael Cheika to potentially end up as a coach in the NRL.
Well, and he said he wouldn't be surprised, you know, if Michael Cheika wanted to coach in the NRL, that he could handle it. No, certainly doesn't surprise me either, Vonnie. It will be interesting to see what happens over the coming months and even, you know, the next year. We don't know how long he's tied up with Argentina for. I know he helps out everywhere. Yeah. Honestly, he's a very busy man, but stuck his hand up to coach Lebanon because he loves footy. He loves league. He loves league, even though he's a
so he knows
man.
How thankless being an NRL coach can be. He knows the risks.
I think he knows all about coaching and whether it's rugby or rugby league. And rugby union, he went through a tough time with the Wallabies. So he's well prepared as to what would be facing him if he decided to take on a head coaching job,
which is what we need.
Oh, he's got the temperament and the character to be successful. That's for sure.
Well done to Lebanon. They can be so proud of their World Cup. It has come to an end, but let's head back to Huddersfield with the Australian coach.
I have Mal Meninga, the head coach of the Kangaroos, alongside me. Any criticisms after that?
Oh no, I'm happy to get all. We're fairly injury-free. You know, James Tedesco just got a cork at half-time, so gave Ches a good opportunity to play at 6 and Money at fullback. So really happy with getting through the game. It was a bit clunky with the ball tonight. The ruck speed wasn't really good, but no, that's getting you that sort of stuff. So I was happy with the effort.
So no concerns when it comes to James Tedesco?
No, he's just got a cork, so we're just precautionary really. He was going to go back on half-time, but after half-time, but we decided to not do that.
You mentioned the word clunky. What do you put that down to?
Oh, the ruck was fairly slow. It was very difficult to get any momentum. I thought when we did, we played really good footy. So yeah, and defensively again I thought once again we're pretty solid.
Nathan Cleary a little out of sorts. Would you agree?
Oh well, like I said, it was pretty slow play the ball. The ruck, like I said, the ruck speed wasn't the best. So they were coming up, putting pressure on him. So that's just the way it is over here.
Okay, Fiji or New Zealand. You're going to tell me you don't have a preference, but I'm going to push you. Who would you prefer? I'm not in a position to sort of worry about those sort of things. I've just got to make sure our preparation is really good for next week, regardless of who we play. Obviously the Kiwis are ranked #1 in the world, so it'll be very difficult for the Fijians, but it's been done before. Is this the best New Zealand side we've seen at a World Cup?
I would think so. I mean, really impressed with their spine, obviously, and got some great experience, some great young players coming through. Joey Manu's a great player, so yeah, they'll be out fired up on, I think, tomorrow, and then we'll see what happens next week.
Well, Mal Meninga, congratulations, Australia through the semis. Well done.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Kangaroos coach Mal Meninga, they're talking about the errors. Obviously, they're an issue. Corey, you highlighted it straight away. Speed around the ruck. The Aussies just we haven't seen the best of the Aussies. And I think we're now, a month into this World Cup? Now we have the toughest test coming in the semi-finals, whether that's the Kiwis or Fiji. What does this week look like if you're Mal Meninga? How are you going to flick the switch so that all of a sudden they do look like the best in the world, are looking like world champions?
On the one hand, I mean, the players go into the game and without being disrespectful of the other nation, they know they're going to win the game. So maybe their thought process is not quite where it needs to be. A pass might be pushed there, your timing might be off at different stages. Semi-finals looks like it's going to be in New Zealand. It's going to be a completely different build. Players approach the game completely different. So I expect there's enough big game players within the Australian side that they'll get it right. The preparation is key. But you're spot on. I mean, Mal used the word clunky himself. They weren't. The cohesion just wasn't there.
Mal's post-match press conferences have been virtually the same. Yeah. Happy with effort. Defence has been great. We've played good field position, but with the ball, we've just missed the mark a couple of times. I do agree with what he said about the ruck. The ruck is terribly slow. Like there hasn't been many Australian tries, even right throughout the tournament, even though they've scored a stack of them, that have resulted off the back of them building into the try. It's mostly individual breaks, isn't it? It's line breaks. It's just players being able to beat defenders.
Waiting
Not
for
very often
Josh
have they
Addo-Carr
got into a role.
Well, the Josh Addo-Carr's second try was off the back of a quick play of the ball from his own run, and Teddy got out of there and was able to sort of create a bit of leg speed. But yeah, I mean,
we're not building to tries.
No,
we're breaking the line. We're beating tackles. Now that won't happen as often against New Zealand. It will. I think New Zealand game will, and Fiji. I know they've got to get past Fiji, but New Zealand should win that game. It will be more like an NRL game, that one. Well, it's